I'ma change this. I'ma change it.
Then that's not what you're gonna do. Then what you gonna do? You're gonna go out there and you're gonna do something stupid? Cause you know that's not what mommy and daddy worked hard for all these years. What you trying to prove? You missed a big shot? Risking your life cause we need some money, Daddy?
We live in Red Hook Housing Project in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn. All we got is the streets. That's it.
Hey yo, LAZ, man, make sure you check this new video out from the bros, Rap P featuring Capital Bash, you heard? This is fire and they talking extra greasy on this. Go on their YouTube channel, leave a comment, tell them Z-Man, Suicide Polo with the Ski Man sent you. Yurt?
What up? This Silka. And if you from Brooklyn, New York, and you not watching the st.laz channel on YouTube, IG, Facebook, Twitter, whatever platform you on, you slipping. Your skirt is showing. Go ahead and get with the program.
Hey yo, make sure y'all check out that new video from BK Panamami featuring your boy, you heard? Bville Gang.
He pull out this big ass Tech 9 with the air holes and shit in it, long ass clip, cocks it back, throws it in my face, starts demanding me to give him the money. You know, so I'm like, whoa, be easy, bro. You know, you ain't gotta do that. And he mad hype though, you know, at this point. He like, fuck that. Give me the money. This is a story about how I allowed myself to get robbed for $30,000 in cash. You know, I say allowed because, you know, I should have known better, for real. I mean, I actually did know better, but in my gut, you know, at the time was telling me just forget it. Wait and try again another time, but I was so greedy and pressed in that moment, you know what I mean, kind of rushing, ignoring all the signs, that I happened to just get caught slipping big time, you know what I mean. So it's like 2002, 2003 at the time. You know, I'm knee deep in the streets, hustling heavy at this time. You know, this is like before my transition into officially becoming DJ for show. I mean, I was always DJing, you know, ever since a young kid, but this is before I actually made the real transition into doing it full time and making a real living off of it. Anyway, so I think, you know, I mentioned before in one of my other stories, I know I definitely did on my podcast, that I used to travel the highways, you know, quite a bit, up and down 95, taking hammers, you know, up top to New York and New Jersey, getting them off the random dudes, you know, that I knew, or even some of the plugs that I might have dealt with. So, you know, I would either sell them or trade them off for the work, turn right back around, you know, bring the work down to VA, knock that shit off, gather up some more hammers and whatever, and do it all over again, you know. And there was also times, you know, when I didn't have no hammers for sale, and I just make the trip and travel up north anyway, just to buy some work, just to keep my thing moving out here in VA. Well, at the time, I happened to be tied in with like a bunch of Rastas and some Jamaicans that was moving like real heavy out there in Irvington, New Jersey. And, you know, they happened to take a real liking to me, you know, treated me like family. Basically was supplying me, you know, with whatever I wanted for real. You know, the business was always good. The quality of the work was always top notch. You know, of course, on my end, the money was always right and exact. So, you know, it made for a perfect working relationship. And more often than not, you know, dudes would even, you know, they would give me everything I paid for, you know, and on top of that, they would even double me up sometimes with work on consignment. You know, that's how much they trusted me, and that's how much shit that they had at the time. You know, I'm talking about like hundreds of pounds of smoke, you know, numerous keys and coke, and these dudes was heavy for real. You know, so anyway, you know, it was this one particular time, man, I want to say, it had to be like a weekend, because some of my peoples who came out to VA from Jersey to chill with me for a couple days. Now, when I say chill with me, let me try and paint the picture accurately. So, like I said, during this time, I'm hustling like a machine, around the clock, day and night. I'm on super grind. I had a few 24-hour trap spots jumping off. I had just opened up my first store, and I was running that. I'm trapping out of that too. And then I had quite a few dudes that, I was wholesaling weight to. Plus, I'm always on the prowl and I'm always on call to receive some new hammers whenever they would arrive. I had a crazy plug for those too, but that's definitely another story. Needless to say, my phone stayed jumping, and I stayed on the move. So I say all of that to say, whenever my people showed up from Jersey and New York, it was like party time. Not only for them, but for me too. I'd roll out the red carpet for niggas, go all out, try to show my hospitality, make sure my guys have an amazing time. It was like a party all day, all night, weed burning, drinks flowing, bottles popping, great food, nightlife, women around, whatever niggas wanted to do, we did it. We kind of made movies for real, man, no bullshit. And I'm sure to this very day, niggas still got amazing stories to share and tell about some of the shit we used to do and some of the fun we used to have. Hold up, let me back up for a second. So, as I said, this is like at a time when I'm going stupid dumb hard in the streets. Not only am I slinging hammers left and right, I'm known, like well known at this time, and it's a commonly well known fact that I always kept a hammer on me at all times. Wouldn't leave the house without it. It's not a time anybody could think of to tell you that they probably seen me out somewhere and the banger wasn't either on me or at least very close by. That's a fact. And I had all sorts of joints too. But for the most part, what I used to keep on me most often was this little small compact Glock 30, which is a 45 cal. But it's little though. And anybody that knows anything about guns, the compact versions of anything, is strictly made for concealment purposes. Meaning, they're real easy to hide without being noticeable. And I used to go to the gun shows a lot, and find all kinds of little dope accessories and ammo and shit like that. And I was able to find this really unique holster that kind of went around your waist, kind of like a fanny pack, but underneath your pants. And it had like these two compartments in it that you could actually fit full-size hammers in your pants, and nobody would actually, notice the shit for real. And they was easily accessible too. So with me having this little compact Glock on me all the time, it was like the perfect way to hide my pistol. And it probably wouldn't work these days though with the skinny jean style and all that. But anyhow, just keep that in mind as I continue to paint this picture. So a few days prior to my peoples coming down to visit me, I wound up getting into some shit with this nigga at this corner store that was not too far from where I lived. And kind of escalated, into like a loud confrontation out in front of the store. And I was a little tipsy at the time, so I can't even really remember what it was about now to save my life, but couldn't have been nothing too major though. Anyhow, I guess it got so heated that, someone in the store, they wound up calling the police. And they happened to come outside to tell us and warn us, say that we called the police and that they was on the way and that we should probably leave. So when I heard that, I kind of made my way to my vehicle, to attempt to leave the area. But the nigga I'm arguing with, he kind of like following me to the vehicle, and we still shouting back and forth and whatnot, but I'm realizing this nigga ain't gonna allow me to just leave like that. So I guess he was kind of waiting on the cops or some shit. So anyhow, I pulled my joint out to throw it in the whip, just in case when they do arrive, I ain't got no pistol on me, because we all know how cops act when niggas got a gun on you. So I tossed the joint under my seat, closed the door, and me and him continue going. I continue going back and forth with this joker about only God knows what at this point. Anyway, make a long story short, the cops come. They see we both a little tipsy. They see that I'm driving, and I want to say the dude, he probably told them that I had a pistol on me or something, because one thing led to another. They wind up searching my vehicle, and the first thing they do is pull this Glock out from underneath the seat. Other than that, I was clean, luckily. Now, the vehicle I'm driving was in my baby mother's name, and the particular gun happened to be registered to her as well. So I acted like I had like completely no knowledge of it being there, and that I was just coming to the store right quick to get something for her. I was on my way back when all this nonsense with the dude happened, and I happened to only live a few blocks away. It's late. I ain't really out here looking for no trouble or none of that. Well, what wound up happening was they confiscated the gun. They acted as though they believed my story, and they actually let me leave just without the hammer. They said something about taking it, running it for prints or whatever to see if it matches up with any other crimes and all of that. So, just as long as they ain't charged me with it right then, I ain't really pull up no fight or no quarrels. I was just happy they allowed me to leave, because I thought for sure I was going to jail that night, being as though I was a felon, not even supposed to be anywhere around no guns. So yeah, then the weekend falls, like I said, and my peoples are out here with me. We partying, we having a good time and all of that. Okay, so boom. I'm getting kind of dry. Like, the work is running out. And, I'm down to like my last couple pounds. It's about time for me to make another trip and get back right and get straight. So my plan was, when my peoples hit the road and head back home, I'm going to just follow suit and hit the road right behind them. Go handle my business, turn around, come back home like normal. So I put the call in. I tell the rosters, yo, I'm coming up in a day or two, fix me up something real nice. They tell me, cool, something new is supposed to be coming in anyway, and it'll be ready when you get here. Alright, so the weekend passes, my peoples take off. Now, I can't remember specifically what the situation was with me or my baby moms at the time, but for whatever reason, she either wanted to go up top for something or she needed to go up top for something. She originally from Brooklyn, but the thing about that was she couldn't stay long. She had to be back the same night to go to work the next morning. Well, that wasn't really an issue with me because I'm usually in and out anyway, making round trips on the regular, so that was nothing. Now, I know y'all possibly might be thinking like, damn, you was going to make that trip, pick up all that work and ride back with your baby moms in the car with you? And, the quick answer to that is yeah, hell yeah. And I know that sounds dumb as shit to me now, but at the time, my baby moms was a rider for me. And she was definitely about that life. I didn't really have a fear in the world. Anyway, so we make the trip up top, and I stop in Jersey. I put her up in a hotel, so I can go handle my business. Now keep in mind, I'm without my Glock on me at this time. In my mind, I wasn't really worried or concerned about it because, I'm going to deal with my roster family and shit. And it ain't never really been no foul energy or bad vibes, whenever I dealt with them. So it ain't really mean nothing to me that I ain't had a hammer. Plus, I wasn't really planning on going nowhere else. I just wanted to take care of the business, get back to the telly, wait on my baby moms, and turn around, hit the road, and head back to VA. So boom, I get to the roster spot, and he's telling me, yo, ain't nothing come through the pipes yet. He's still waiting on his shipment. I'm like, are you serious? You can't be for real. I called you, Gretchen, and placed my order, told you everything. You told me everything was good, and I ain't got another day or two just to hang around and wait. I gotta be back in VA tonight. So I'm pleading my case and my dilemma to him, and he's like, ain't nothing I can do, basically to hurry up and wait. That's all he could tell me. So he actually did, make a few calls for me to some other folks he knew and dealt with, but nobody could really handle the type of weight that I was trying to get at the time. He found a few guys who had a little bit of this, or somebody might have had a little bit of that, basically just trying to piece it all together, from various sources, but that would have required me to deal with several different people and obviously different prices that I wasn't really used to paying. And at the end of the day, to me, that just would have been a total headache for real. So now I'm pressed. I'm feeling like I got to find this shit somewhere and fast because baby mom's got to do something and then we got to hit the road and get back. So I start making calls to other folks I know, that might either have it or know somebody else that does or might be able to locate it for me. So I'm on the jack, I'm letting niggas know, like, look, I'm in town. I'm looking to grab like 40, 50 pounds at least. I need this shit now. Not now, but right now. Whatever you could do to help me out, just let me know. I'll pull up. details of that. You know, one of my peoples hit me back. He said his cousin got somebody that should probably have what I'm looking for. Now, mind you, again, I ain't got my hammer with me, you know, and I think at this point, I'm so focused on making this deal happen, you know, I'm in such a rush that all my normal logic kind of just went out the window. You know what I mean? I'm so used to having the hammer on me without even thinking about it. You know, it's like second nature for me to have it. It really didn't dawn on me at the time, at this particular time, that I didn't. I mean, I know I didn't logically, but it wasn't something that stood out in my mind right then. You know what I mean? I was definitely slipping. So, as it turned out, you know, my people set the deal up with his cousin. He had me come over to his house in East Orange, you know, to wait on him. And that's where we was going to handle the business. Now, if you're not familiar with like the old houses on the side streets in Jersey in the East Orange area, they're kind of big for the most part. You know, they like 2-3 floors high, most of them. And it'd be bedrooms, you know, on the second and third floors. There don't usually be no big bedrooms or nothing, but there's usually like 2 or 3 of them on each floor nonetheless. And it's usually like a narrow staircase, you know, that separates the second and the third floor, like if you was walking into an attic or something. Anyway, my peep's bedroom, where we was going to be handling the business, happened to be on the third floor. You know, and he had a window facing the street where you could see straight downstairs onto the street at whatever's in front of the house. And he also got a dog in the crib, you know, that goes crazy whenever someone comes to the front door. So when I get there, you know, I go upstairs and I take position in the far end of the room, you know, right in front of the window so I can see what's going on below. You know, and I'm chilling for the most part. You know, we laughing, smoking and shit, talking about the weekend we just had and all that. And, you know, like all together, I think it was like 4 of us in the room at the time. You know, it was both of my peoples, because they twin brothers, and they the ones that actually brokered the deal for me. And I think it was their girlfriend, one of their girlfriends or somebody there too. And I say that just to say, you know, 4 people in those little ass bedrooms is like a real tight situation. You know, not to mention we expecting for 1 more, possibly 2 more people to come, you know, with the work. So in my mind, I'm already thinking like, yo, this shit is super tight in here. You know, if anything was to happen, you know, it's only 1 door headed out, and I'm on the total opposite side of it. So, you know, it got the real potential to get real ugly real quick. So anyway, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm watching every car that pulls up, you know, and it's going by on the street below. And after a while, you know, I see this little small whip pull up to the front of the house. 2 dudes hop out. They carrying this huge garbage bag, and they run up to my man's porch. You know, so I recognize one of them as being my man's cousin, who's the one that's actually supposed to be bringing the work to me. So one of my peeps, he started rushing down the stairs to go let him inside to come up where we at. You know, and I hear the dog start going crazy like he normally do. And I'm thinking to myself, like, finally, yes, we can get this shit done. You know, I can make my way back to the telly, chill, and gonna get the fuck out of here and hit the road. You know, but at the same time, in the same instant, I got this crazy ass feeling in my gut that something ain't right. You know, for one, the dog, you know, it usually stops barking when whoever it is comes in the house. But this time, the dog ain't stopped barking. And you know, dogs, man, they be having those crazy senses where they can sense like bad intentions and fear from people and shit like that. So that was like the first red flag. I ain't really pay it no mind though. Secondly, you know, I noticed that when these niggas hopped out the whip, they didn't even park for real. You know, they kind of just pulled up to the front of the house and left the car running right out front, like as if they was just coming right back real quick. Now, mind you, I've done these type of deals, man, and made these type of transactions 1,000 times before. You know, I know that it takes a little more than a couple minutes to correctly count out this amount of money. You know what I mean? Especially when dealing with somebody you don't normally do business with. So, you know, you're going to want to make sure the count is right before we part ways. So anyway, that was the second red flag. But, you know, by the time the 2 dudes appear in front of me with the garbage bag in hand and come into the room, my man come in behind him, you know, and then he closes the door. So now, the one guy, not my man cousin, but the guy he brought with him, he just seemed a little bit nervous. You know, and I ain't gonna front, I was a little bit nervous too, just because I ain't know these jokers, you know, but I immediately recognized one of them, you know, to be of like Caribbean descent. So I started to speak patois to him, basic small talk, you know, nothing major, and I asked him to see the herbs and how much he had bought with him. So he tossed the bag in front of me, you know, to take a look at what he had, and then that's when all hell broke loose. You know, this nigga, he pull out this big ass Tech 9 with the air holes and shit in it, long ass clip, cocks it back, throws it in my face, starts demanding me to give him the money. You know, so I'm like, whoa, be easy, bro. You know, you ain't gotta do that. And he mad hype though, you know, at this point. He like, fuck that, give me the money. So now, my first reaction, you know, was to calm the situation and not make no crazy moves and not get this nigga to start firing off, because like I said, it's already cramped in the room, you know, and it ain't a whole lot of moving around space in there, and the door is closed too. You know, he waving his tech around the room at everybody, you know, even the nigga that bought him there. You know, both my niggas is screaming at him like, yo, what the fuck is you doing? You know what I'm saying? They cousin, he got this stupid ass look on his face like he ain't know what was going on. And the shorty, you know, she's sitting on the bed with her hands over her eyes, trying not to see shit, I guess. I mean, anyhow, so the nigga grabbed me by the collar of my shirt, you know, and he demands the money again. This time he got the gun poking me in my neck. So I'm telling him, look, yo, calm down, man. You ain't got to do nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? The money's over here in this backpack right here. So he started motioning and yelling for his partner to grab the backpack and then grab the garbage bag too. And he's pointing at everything with the gun in his hand. You know what I'm saying? So I know I'm telling the story kind of, but the shit moving super fast. You know what I mean? I got all kinds of thoughts running through my head. And that's when the reality finally hit me with the fact that, yo, I'm not even carrying the Glock that I'm so used to having on me and always been known for. So this nigga opens up the door, you know, and he allows his partner to run from the room, carrying the bag of money in the smoke. Now he walking backwards out the room, pulling me with him, you know, as he trying to go down the stairs. He yanking me by my collar, telling me to come with him. So I'm like, nah, nigga, you bugging. I ain't going with you. You know, you might as well just do whatever you're going to do right here. Now, we was already partially down the staircase, you know, and I'm struggling a bit to break free from this hole, because now I realize that not only did this nigga come to rob me, he was going to try to take my life as well, you know. I mean, what other reason did he have to want me to come down the stairs with him, you know, other than to get me outside the house away from everybody else and other people's eyes, probably just leave me there stinking on the curb or some shit, you know what I mean? I mean, he already had the money in the smoke. So I wound up breaking his grip, you know, and hauling ass back up the stairs, just praying that this nigga don't start shooting at me from below. But, you know, after I broke his grip, he actually turned around and ran down the stairs and out the house to the car that they came in. Now, by the time I got back in the room, one of the twins, he was pulling up floorboards in the room where he had stashed a hammer that I had given him a few weeks prior. And out the window, you know, I see these niggas pulling off into the night with my money and all the work. That was that, you know. But it's funny how, you know, things work out sometimes. What I mean is, you know, God actually handed out a bunch of blessings that day in various forms. You know, for one, obviously, I was spared my life, because there's no doubt in my mind that for whatever reason, you know, this nigga wanted to kill me. That became clear in his actions. You know, for two, God spared everybody else's life in that room, because this nigga was waving that joint around, you know, and anybody in the room could have got hit, either intentionally or by mistake. You know, and that clip hold a lot of bullets. You know what I'm saying?
Why you think that dude might have wanted to kill you though?
I think probably because they ain't had no masks on or nothing like that. Everybody seen his face. You know what I mean? You robbing niggas for that type of money, man. You don't want to be seen if you gonna let a nigga live. That's what I thought. You know? Anyhow, like I was saying though, God even spared his life and his partners. You know, just like I said, happened to be my people's first cousin. And I say that because, you know, had it not been for that incident a few days prior at the store in VA, I would have had that Glock in my pants. You and I always kept one in the head. No need for cocking nothing, just pull it out and shoot, And even though dude gave me a slight little pat down when he first grabbed me, he wouldn't have seen or felt that joint and that special holster coming out until it was too late for him. No bullshit. And I could certainly guarantee that I would have put one in his head at the first opportunity, which there was actually several, and I definitely would have laid that cousin down right there in that room too in front of everybody else there. You could imagine what kind of mess that would have made. And who knows, I might have either escaped and came back to VA with the money and the smoke, or, I would have been locked up fighting a drug deal going bad case and a double murder in Jersey, instead of actually getting caught up in a homicide case out here in Virginia years later. So it's crazy how shit work out, right? And then two, God continued to bless this nigga, and kept him in his good graces, because after it all happened, and I had time to actually get back home, settle down, restart, gather my thoughts and all that, get back to business. There was times when I would still come up top, and handle my business with my people the same way I always did. But before heading back out, I'd go searching for the cousin, and I'd be laying on him. I actually wound up getting an address, the way he sometimes would lay his head. But like I said, through God's hands, I suppose, for his sake and mine, anytime I was there waiting on him, he would never show up, would never show his face. You know what I mean? There was times I actually made special trips up there just to sit and wait on him for like 2-3 days at a time. You know what I mean? You talking about a nigga determined to get even? I mean, that was like an understatement for real. I wanted to catch this dude so bad, man. But it ain't never happened. So after a few months, man, a little while passed, I just kind of chalked it up as a loss, man, and prayed on it, hoping that, one day we just crossed paths again, and hoping that I had a drop on him at that time, So, all in all, Laz, man, the moral to this story, even if there is a moral to the story, is just to trust your gut feelings. When your gut's telling you something that ain't right, take heed and listen, It's always a reason. Your instincts is going to give you the heads up. And if you out here doing dirt, wheeling and dealing, take your time, yo. Don't move so fast that you miss the details. And don't be in such a rush that you land yourself in a bad situation. I got lucky at the end of the day. All I lost was 30 grand. It could have easily been my life, though. Like I said, had it been the other way around, I could have easily and willingly taken somebody else's life. A couple of them, to be exact. So, follow your instincts. Stay on point. Take your time. That's my message here. You're getting it straight from the OG's mouth, man. Laz, as you always know, I appreciate you, homeboy. You already know. Keep it coming with the bangers. I know you got a lot of good shit in the works, and plenty blessings coming your way. Bet that. That was your boy Truth, man, AKA Djsho. OAP's War General, man. NJ to VA all day. Check me out on my podcast, Truth Beyond These Walls. It's on all platforms. You can even give me a shout out on my Instagram at Truth Beyond These Walls. Or you can even show some support, man, by clicking the link tree in my bio and purchasing a free DJ for show or a for show promo t-shirt. I definitely appreciate all the love and the feedback y'all been giving up in the comment section, for real. I don't know what else to say or how to say it. These just the stories of my life. Book coming soon. Shout out to my nigga Tom Gish, man, the whole St. Bill. And the big rest in power shout out goes to my man Leaf Nitty. Anybody else out there listening and learning, holla at your boy. One.
I'ma change this. I'ma change it.
Then that's not what you're gonna do. Huh, Danny, what you gonna do? You're gonna go out there and you're gonna do something stupid? Because that's not what mommy and daddy worked hard for all these years. What you trying to prove? You missed a big shot? Risking your life because we need some money, Danny?
Yeah, we live in Red Hook Housing Project in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn. All we got is the streets.
All right.
Hey yo, LAZ, man, make sure you check this new video out from the bros, Rap P featuring Capital Bash, you heard? This is fire, and they talking extra greasy on this. Go on their YouTube channel, leave a comment, tell them Z-Man, Suicide Polo with the Ski Man sent you. Yurt?
What up? This Silka. And if you from Brooklyn, New York, and you not watching the st.laz channel on YouTube, IG, Facebook, Twitter, whatever platform you on, you slipping. Your skirt is showing. Go ahead and get with the program.